everyone. Welcome to the OTHM Level 5 Extended Diploma in the Business Management. So today we will discuss the Unit 2 of this diploma, that is Business Operations. So today's topic is the Unit 2, that is Business Operations. To understand this learning outcome, we first have to explain the different type of business sectors, that is first assessment criteria of this learning outcome. So we have different type of business sectors, that is primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Now I will explain these sectors one by one to you people. What is primary sector? Primary sector is all about the raw material. Think mining, fishing, and farming. These all are included in the primary sector. Then we have the secondary sector. In secondary sector, it include all those raw material, and we transform these raw material into the factories by making the cars, clothes, and electronics from these raw material. So in primary sector we have the raw material, and in secondary sector we make something from these raw material. And in the tertiary sector, there is the service. It is the service central, from banking to teaching and everything in between, like retail. For example, we can sell these things in the tertiary sector. Then we have quaternary sector. This is basically the brainy bunch. It includes the research, the IT, the data analysis, and the driving innovations. Now we have to compare the different type of business in the second assessment criteria. So first we have to understand the different type of business. We have different type of business. The first one is the profit. The second one is the not for profit or non-profit. The third one is the non-government. The fourth one is the micro business. And fifth one is the SMEs. And last one is national and multinational businesses. Now I will explain these different type of business to you people. The first one is the profit business organization. So the purpose of these organizations is to make profit. These businesses make money for themselves, for example, different shops, different restaurant, or different technological companies. Then we have the companies that are non-profit organizations or that are not for profit. So the focus of these companies are to helping some cause, not making the money, like charities or community group. Then we have non-governmental organizations or NGOs. The purpose of these organizations is to help the people or the environment without being part of the government. For example, the companies like Greenpeace or the Red Cross. Then we have the micro business companies. These are basically the small businesses with only a few workers, for example, any local bakery or a one-person consulting firm. Then we have SMEs, that is small and medium enterprises. So these medium-sized businesses are bigger than the micro ones. For example, any local construction companies or clothing brands. Then we have the national businesses. These are basically the companies that operate only in one country. For example, any grocery chain that is only found in one country or one nation. Then we have the multinational business. These are the big companies that operates in many countries. For example, McDonald's, Apple, Nike, Tesla, Unilever. We have many examples. Now we have the third assessment criteria in which we compare the legal structure of the business. So we have total four legal structure of the business. The first one is the sole trader. In sole trader business, it includes only one person who runs the overall business or the whole business, and he keeps all the profit to himself, but it is his personal responsibility if there are any debts. So he is responsible for any type of loan. For example, any freelance graphic designer can be a sole trader. Then we have partnership. Partnership include two or more people like a team, and they share profit but also share any type of losses, loans, or debts. You can think any law firm or a small family run business as a partnership business. Then we have limited companies. This is basically the company where owner or the shareholders are not personally liable for any type of debts or losses beyond what they have invested. Like they are liable for if there is any loss in the company, then they are only liable for the amount that they have invested in the company, not more than that. And it is often small to medium businesses, for example, any local manufacturing firms. Then we have public limited company. They are listed on the stock market and anyone can buy their shares, and they are usually large corporations like BP or Tesco. Objectives. So how the business type and structure shape the market and objectives? The first thing is that the sole trader always focuses on personal service and a small or niche market. Partnership always share the risk and resources that aims for growth in the larger markets. The limited company always prioritize the stability and regional expansions with its limited liability. And if we talk about the PLCs, that is public limited company, that they always target the global market, seeks to dominate through public investment and rapid growth. So these businesses structure always affect the objectives like survival, growth, or expansion of the company. The market size always shape the strategy from personal connection to to mass scale operations. Then we have the second learning outcome in which we try to understand the relationship between the business functions. So we have different function of the businesses. First, we have to explain and understand them. The first function of the business is sales and marketing. Then we have human resource management, also called as HRM. Then we have production. Then we have warehouses. And at last, we have distribution finance. So I will explain these business functions to you people one by one. What is sales and marketing? The team in sales and marketing always find the customer and they sell the product to make the money. Then we have the HRM department or human resource department. This department always responsible to hire and take care of the employees. So the businesses has the right people to work for them. Then we have the third function called as production. The team of the production department always makes the product and services for the customers. Then we have other function that is warehouse and distribution. So in the warehouse and distribution, they store the product and get them to the customer on time. Then we have the other department called as finance. Finance always handles the money, paying bills, keeping the track of the cost, and making sure that the business is always profitable. So, uh, in this slide, I will explain the relationship between the different functions of the business. The sales and marketing bring in the customer, which boost the production demand. So there is the relationship between sales and marketing and production department. Production department cannot uh, cannot fulfill the demand, or the production department cannot work until or unless the sales and marketing department bringing in the customers. The second is that production needs HR to provide skilled workers to make the product. If HR is not working properly, or if HR is not providing the people to the production department cannot make the product and service cannot make the product and cannot deliver the services because they don't have the right people to do the right job. Then the warehouse and distribution depend on the production to create the product to store and ship. If the production department are not making the product, are not designing the product, then what is the purpose of warehouse and distribution? The warehouse obviously store the product, and distribution department obviously distribute the product that are designed by the production department. And if the production department is not working, then there is no role of warehouse and distribution. So all these functions are interrelated with each other. Then if you talk about the finance, then finance allocates the money for all these departments. If finance department is not working, or it is not allocating the budget for all the departments, then it would be very difficult for all these departments to run their functions. So the finance department always allocates the money for HR department, for production department, department, for marketing department to function properly. And if we talk about the HR, then HR supports all these departments by managing the right people for each function. If HR stops hiring the right people for the right job, then it would be very difficult for all these business functions to work in a proper manner. So all these functions work together to ensure that the business runs smoothly and meet its goals. So we have different organizational structures here. You can see also in the picture. The first one is the hierarchical structure, then we have bureaucratic structure, then we have matrix structure, and at last we have flat structure. Now we will discuss these structure one by one. Here is the organizational structure chart. You can check it. It is basically the hierarchical structure where at the top we have the CEO, then we have the managers, and at the end we have the workers. Now we will discuss the impact of the different functional relationship. The first is the line of authority, which determine who makes the decision and who follows the order. Then the clear accountability is important as it always makes sure that each function knows its role and responsibilities in the company. The cross-functional relationship can blur the authority, but it can increase the collaboration. The hierarchical structure creates the clear reporting line, while the flat structure allows more autonomy to the employees. Then we have the matrix structure, which balance the authority between the project manager and functional heads, which offer the flexibility. So the structure must fit the company's goal and the way the different functions work together. Then we have the third learning outcome in which we would be able to measure a business internal environment. So now we will discuss the internal environment of the business. The internal factor in the business are the different elements that are inside the company. It include the employees, the resources, the policies that affect how it operates. So there are different internal functions or internal departments in the company, for example, HR, finance, and production that keep the business running. Then we have different stakeholders in the internal environment, which include employees, manager, and owners who have the interest in the success of the business. These are basically internal stakeholders of the company. Then we have the organizational structure. It is also included in the internal environment. It is the shared values of the company's beliefs, values, and behaviors that shape how things get done. Now we have the second assessment criteria in which we explain why it is important to measure the internal environment of a business. Now we have the third assessment criteria in which we apply a technique to quantify a internal environment of the business. So we have the model here called as SWOT analysis that is helpful to quantify the internal environment of a business. So the S in the SWOT analysis means strengths. The strength of any company include market share percentage, its cash reserves, its innovation, or its brand recognition. Then we have W. W in the SWOT analysis means weaknesses. It include the labor turnover in the company, the lack of workforce skill, or the lack of employees motivation in the company. So these things can be the weaknesses of the company, and these things can be the strength of the company. Then we have the opportunities. O stands for opportunities. Opportunities includes the new technology in the company, or the overseas technology, or any new product development opportunity for the company. Then we have the T, which means the threat. Threat can be the rising cost of the company in any product, or competitive rivalry in the market, or different strict government policies. So all these factors called as SWOT analysis or SWOT factors affect the internal environment of the business. Now in the fourth assessment criteria, we will assess the internal environment of the business. This is the capacity assessment grid in the table. These are the capacity areas that I have explained you people before: mission and vision alignment, leadership, resource and infrastructure, process and financial capacity. And these are the current capacity and target capacity. For example, if we talk about the mission and vision alignment of any company, then after analysis, we found out that the current capacity of the mission and vision alignment is moderate, and the target capacity what we want to achieve is high. We want that mission and vision alignment of the company must be high, but its current capacity is moderate. So what is the gap in it? The gap is that we need the stronger alignment with the strategy. Now if we talk about the leadership, so the current capacity is strong, but what we expected, what is our target capacity, that is high. So strong and high is almost same, so there is no gap. It is well aligned with the vision. Then we have the resources and infrastructure. Then our current capacity is weak here. And if we talk about the target capacity, what we are expecting, then it is moderate. So we want the moderate resource and infrastructure, but we have weak. So what is the gap? That is insufficient workforce and tools. So this insufficient workforce and tools leads to the weak resources and infrastructure. So this capacity assessment grid helps us to find out the gap between our current and targeted capacity, so we can fill it. Then if we talk about the process, then the current capacity of the process is moderate and the target capacity is high. So there are also some inefficiencies in the process. Then if we talk about the financial capacity, then it is a strong, but our target capacity is high. So what is the gap? As it is almost similar, but there is the gap that we need more investment. So this all grid help us to find out that where we are standing and where we are expecting to be stand in future. Then we have another S, that is shared values. These are basically the core beliefs and values that drive the culture of the company and its decision. Then we have another S called as a style. It is basically the management style or leadership approach that is used within the company. Then we have another S called as a staff. These are basically the employees and their skills, their roles, and their overall and the overall workforce capabilities in the company. Then we have the last S called as skills. Skills include the core competencies and unique abilities of the employees that the business possess or its employees possess. Now we have the fourth learning outcome in which we would be able to measure the external environment of the. So what is external environment? The external environment of a business refers to the different factor or the different forces that are outside the company but they can influence the performance of the company. The external factor include different things, for example, economy, technology, the competition, the government policies, the government regulations that can affect the business, but they are beyond the control of the company. Then we have the different external drivers. So the key forces that shape the market or industry include the consumer trend, the innovation, or the globalization. Then we have the external stakeholder. The external stakeholder include the customer, the supplier, the investor, and the regulators who have the interest in the success of the business, or they can also impact the operations of the company. So, what is the importance of the business external environment? It is important because it understands the local, national, and international culture, and it helps the business to tailor their approach to meet the customer needs in different regions. And the external environment analyze the competitor and analyze the trend, which help the companies to establish their market position and to develop the different strategies to stand out in the market. The external environment also monitor the different drivers of the external environment, which reveals the new opportunity. For example, many emerging markets, many technological advancement, or shift in the consumer preferences. So we have the technique called as pastel analysis for the internal analysis. We have the technique called as SWOT analysis. Now for the external analysis, we have the technique called as pastel analysis, where P stands for political, E stands for economic, S stands for social, T stands for technological, L stands for legal, and E stands for environmental. So, what is political factors? Political factors include any changes in the government policies, any changes in the taxation, or the global trade agreements that can affect the business operations. Then we have the second factor, that is economic factor. It includes the economic growth, inflation, or exchange rate that can shape the consumer spending and cost. Then we have the third factor called a social factor. It includes the shift in the consumer trends, culture, and their lifestyle, which influence the demand for a specific product or service. Then we have technological factor. It includes that the new technologies can impact that how industries and businesses are operating in the market, and if there is the need to innovate or not. Then we have the legal factor. Legal factor include the different changes in the legislation, for example, health and safety, employment, and data protection laws that affect the compliance. Then we have this sixth and the last factor called as environmental factor. It focuses on the sustainability, corporate social responsibility, also called as CSR, and different legal environment, for example, carbon emission. Now we have an other model to analyze the external environment of the business called as NSOF matrix. NSOF matrix basically have total four components. The first one is the market penetration, second is the product development, third is the market development, and fourth is the diversification. So you can see in this matrix that here are the product, here are the market. Now I will explain these components one by one to you people to make this matrix more easy for you people. So the first one is the market penetration. This one, market penetration is basically when we are increasing the sales of our existing product in the current or existing market. For example, when we are pushing our promotion to boost the customer loyalty. For example, you can see in the picture that the market penetration is the existing product in the existing market. So we don't need to introduce or launch any new product, and we don't need to change the our target market. We are just increasing the sales of our existing product in the existing market. Then we have the next component, that is product development. Product development is about introducing the new products into the existing market. So in this component, we are introducing the new product, but we are not changing our target market. We are introducing this new product in the existing market. For example, we innovate or upgrade our product to keep our customer interested. Then we have the third component called as market development. So market development is about entering into the new market with the existing products. So in this component, we are expanding geographically or we are targeting the new customer segments with the existing product. We are not changing the product in this component. We are just targeting the new market in this component. Then we have the fourth component called as diversification. In diversification, we have the new product in the new market. So in this step, we are also changing our market and we are also changing our target market. It is totally opposite of the market penetration. Like in market penetration, we just increase our sales in existing market with the existing product. But in the diversification, we are we are launching the new product in the new market. We are changing the both our market and our customer. And in market penetration, we are not changing our customer and we are not changing our market. And it is the riskiest strategy, and it explore the totally new opportunities for the business.